Cool, it's Carl and Brendan here from Games, Brains to Headbang Live, gbhblofficial.com for sure. And as requested, we are going to check out the debut track, first single from the band Sion. I think that's how you say it, Sion. Sion?
Sion or Sion, I'm not sure.
Anyway, first single entitled The Blade off their upcoming full-length album. Now, this track has kind of got notable attention because of certain names in it more than anything else. Jared Deans, I think his name is, guitarist. I don't really know his musical work, but I know his YouTube work. He obviously is a metal critic as well, quite talented guitarist. I've seen a lot of his funny stuff, some clever stuff, interesting things. Seems like a decent dude.
Yeah, he seems to do a lot of like little specials as well. I mean, there was one not too long ago actually with Matt Heafy from Trivium as well. I can't remember the name of the song now, where him and Jared Hyde. It was called Deans versus Heafy.
That's
it was a little EP with 4 or 5 tracks, and it was really cool actually. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. You're right. And of course, this track or this band features Howard Jones of vocals. Probably best known for his time in Kill Switch Engage. It's Howard Jones. I mean, that's a reason to get excited about this track. There's a bloke who can fucking sing.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, let's give this one a go. I don't know anything about it. Let's do it. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Some electronica going on there. Shit, there's a lot going on.
Fucking hell, Howard, calm down.
Yeah, man. I know what you're thinking. We'll get to the end. Shit. Yeah, man, that bloke. I have so many thoughts going on in my head about this track. Oh man,
Well, where do we
I
start?
love elements in the light. Let's focus on what is simply the reason to hear that track, and probably the reason why to definitely check out this band, Howard Jones. Oh my fucking! I think he sounds better than he did in Killswitch days. Like,
Yeah, he absolutely fucking was having it there.
wow.
It sounded brilliant. I mean, the minute he started his kind of shouted, gruff vocals, it took about 3 or 4 seconds to just be like mesmerized by him. And when he went into the clean singing, which I'd forgotten really, to be honest with you, the clean singing part of his voice, he is such a phenomenal vocalist, man. He really is absolutely astonishing. You know, so I mean, this is just a single, obviously, of a full album. You know, that alone, even without the obviously extremely talented Jared Dines guitar work, you know, even just if they said this is just going to be Howard Jones with no music, just singing and shouting, that alone is worth checking this album out for, I reckon.
Yeah, I agree.
It was great. I mean, you know, musically, guitar work, you know, was rightly self-congratulatory at times, but rightly because he's extremely talented, you know.
I like the term you used there, because my natural mind was going to, is it a bit self-indulgent? But I think that's unfair. So I like the fact that, no, actually, it's more of a, look, I can do this, so here's what I can do.
It's like, watch me go, you know. But like, he's an amazing guitarist. He really is. So, you know, and it was great. It was really, really cool. There was some great like melodies. The solo was cool as fuck. The kind of heavier hitting riff part while Howard was roaring really had some impact, you know. And then I guess that leads into just a couple of things that I personally, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be quite similar on this, didn't like.
Well, let's do number one first. That cropped up the earliest, and you made a face, and I said, oh, there's one thing, because it was an obvious thing. If you know Brendan, obviously it was to do with the effects and the vocals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when they ended his roar into I don't even know what the word for it is, because I'm not really that familiar with all this effects sort of stuff, but it tweaked his. I mean, his roar is powerful enough on his own, because they didn't do that in the second verse. They let him just go, and it sounded for me better. You know, that's the truth of it. So yeah, I don't really blend in an insanely good vocalist into the synth or whatever it is. It just doesn't really. I don't need it personally. It didn't kill the track for me or anything like that. That's the thing, because the track was so much good still came before it and after it that I was almost able to just go, ugh, and then go, anyway, back to the good stuff, you know?
Yeah, I second exactly what you're saying now. When it first started off, and it's kind of started off with that kind of electronica, I was a bit like, okay, are we leaning towards the kind of modern metalcore kind of route here? Which I thought would be odd, considering Howard Jones is a vocalist. I thought that would be weird in regards to the sort of modern sound. And when it started off heavy and all that, and it did that effect, I was the same. I was kind of like, man, like, don't do this to this bloke. Like, don't do this to his vocals. He doesn't need that shit. And as you said, it was really weird. Didn't crop up again. So it kind of says, all right, maybe you were experimenting and you thought, you know, and that's how that turned out. But maybe just don't do that shit in the future, or on other tracks, because it's probably not needed when you've got that much range and power in both clean and dirty style of vocals. You continuing like with kind of thing. So like, there's a lot going on it, right? As Brendan said, Jared Dines, great guitarist, but fuck me, is there a lot going on it in regards to technicality and the power and the speed, and there's all this stuff laying underneath that I was trying to pick out. And there was a point when it was playing, I was like, in there on the YouTube video, and you look at who's in the band, and I'm like, wait, so there's no drummer and there's no bass player, or are those just not credited, or are they using machines? Are we using computers here? And I was like, the computers part makes sense because of the level of other things and the high production value. There's an argument at times, particularly with the electronica, that you hear occasionally dotted around in the background and stuff, where it's like, are you overproducing this? Have you made it sound too clean for what it is?
Yeah, you know? I mean, it does sound very polished. And my instant reaction right at the beginning, after the little bit of electronica kind of stopped and it jumped into the sound, and because it sounded so clean and everything like that, and then the little electronica bits to the vocals and stuff like that, my instant reaction was like, oh my god, they're trying to bring back nu metal. That's my honestly, probably completely unfairly, the first thing that went into my head was like, oh my god, they're trying to bring back nu metal. What are they doing? but like by the end of the song, I didn't feel that at all.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I've done the exact same thing, and I was trying to work out in my head while it played whether it was a drum track or not. It didn't sound like one, but maybe that's because everything was so produced that actually it didn't stand out as sounding like a drum track.
True.
You know, there were definitely more than one line of guitars at points. There was or at least I felt there was definitely like a kind of rhythm guitar sound. I assume maybe Dines has recorded, like, you know, they multi-tracked it, and like Dines has recorded it, like the rhythm, and then recorded the lead over the top, that sort of thing. Maybe the bass as well. I don't know. I find it very strange for a band. I know that they're two big names, but that doesn't normally matter in this arena. If there is a drummer there, I would expect his face to at least pop up once or twice in the video and for him to be named. So I'd imagine there's not. Who knows?
Yeah,
maybe in
I'd
all his
agree.
downtime, Howard's learned to play the drums. Maybe he's doing that and all.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it. I think more than likely, without you know, we're not sitting here going to research every inch about this band. We're just going off the video. But based on my assumptions and what you've just said there, I think it's probably likely, obviously during this lockdown era and the times that we live in, this is a project, studio project, and they either using drum machines, drum tracks, and just working from wherever they are to put this stuff out there. And it's an album, and that might be the only album we ever get from it. But I don't want to like I said, I'm sure they're saying, like, we have these negative points where like didn't really enjoy that, or we wonder about this. But overall, I still think this was a very fucking good track, and I kind of want to hear more.
I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. You know, I mean, this is the sort of thing that I can imagine myself. I'm going to play it to somebody and be like, "Don't worry about this little thing at the beginning." But yeah, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I didn't know how I was going to feel about it, and by the end of it, I was like, "Yeah, this is banging. I'm really enjoying this song. Bring on the album."
Yeah, same here. I was picturing as well the same situation of being like, so like you're constantly telling someone, Howard Jones is a great vocalist. You agree, right? And they're like, yeah, he's good. No. You need to say more than just he was good. He was great.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I agree. I think it's an exciting debut. Yeah, let us know what you think of it though in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. Go to Patreon and help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror, and heavy metal. What else is life for?